Good morning.
Good morning.
Woo. Panel 4, Education. Shortly after Benjamin Baker's death in 1942, a new segregated school was built for county. Black students on Charlotte Avenue. It was now called Baker Elementary School in the honor of Mr. Baker. It was taught between grades 1 through 6. It is still today called Baker Academy. Mary Nightingale and her husband Abe had moved to a small community of McCall in 1935, which is called LGB. At that time, McCall consisted of 50 residents. Abe worked as a Central Grove and as a preacher. And Mary raised cattle, cooked in the lunchroom, and she sold cattle. And she also had a smokehouse outside the house. And the county school bus for Baker Academy. Since the academy was the only school for blacks in that area, children were bused from across the country to Punta Gorda. Mary would first drive to Inglewood to pick up children there, and then back to pick up children at McCall Road, Murdoch, and then to Punta Gorda. The first bus was rickety, said Mary in 1970 interview. I've had to jump down every mile at least to put water in the radiator, taking the water out of the ditch. Mary took interest in every child and made sure they got to school. She recalled times a boy and a girl wouldn't be at the bus stop, and she just knew that they were playing hooky. She would get off the bus, go to their homes, put them out of the bed, make sure that they dressed for school. In later years, when that would she see them, they would laugh about her. But nobody had to get those kids to school. Somebody had to get those kids to school to get an education. Mary never had trouble with any of the children in her care. They had no substitute driver at the time. She drove the school bus for 17 years. Each day when she reached Punta Gorda, Mary would start her second job as a cook for the academy. She said, I used to go to Charlotte High and get milk and sandwiches and bring them to the colored school, Baker Academy. Then finally, we got commodities from the kitchen at the school and had made drinks for the kids. Back in the day, they were called Lily Dillies. I'll sell them and charge the children 5 cents for each drink. Then she took the money and bought meat so they could fix lunches for the children. These cost 15 cents each. She ran the lunchroom by herself. Mary drove the school bus for Charlotte County for 19 years and 4 months. Then she was fired in 1964, just 5 months before she retired. Years later, she said, they told me they had to go to another driver, a white man. Integration had come about. You see, now there are a lot of white kids getting on the bus, and some of the parents in Inglewood didn't want their kids being driven by a black person. She went on to say, but I guess that's what's important, was all those 19 years and 4 months, I at least got those kids to school.
Yes, yes.
Sick and well, Mary drove the bus for years. She was determined to do her part in helping those kids get their education. Education has been unable to get. A lot of people around here thought that Mary was a real hero. Said Martha Conway, which was one of the neighbors in LGB that lived by us, who knew Mary well and was a great granddaughter of William Goff, Inglewood early pioneer. Panel 4 recreated an achieved photograph of Mary and her school bus outside the 1942 Baker Academy School.